All right. Well, welcome all. I will try to speak slowly and clearly. And what I'm going to do is spend about 5 or 10 minutes going over the history of the judge program and then get to where we are today. So initially, the judge program ran through the DCI period, then the Magic Judge period, then the Judge Academy period, most of you are aware of, and now we don't know where we're going, but you get to vote. Back in the day, we had everything on paper. Everything was run by wizards. It was very level driven. The events were small, kind of like they are today. And we only had about 17 Grand Prix. Then around 2006, we began to really build and become a much bigger organized play structure. We had Worlds in the Pro Tour. We climbed up to 22 Grand Prix, and I think we ended at around 28 in 2009. We had hundreds of PTQs. Some of those were extremely large, like in Italy, where you had 300 plus player PTQs. You also had city championships and Friday Night Magic. So this is the pyramid of level 1 at the bottom, level 2 for city championships, level 3s are at PTQs, level 4s are doing Grand Prix, and above that is level 5. And we had the DCI membership center. We'll not go there. Then, around 2007 to 9, this regional thing started with Italy. And you guys got big, and the community got big. From 2010 to 2015, events began growing. We saw a Grand Prix go from an average of 800 people to over 2,000 people, with the average being 1,800 people. So these were big events, which we saw later and kept going until COVID. We had a regional expansion in the program to take care of all these new judges. The RCs, the initiative started with Christiana, began, and we expanded that to ultimately, I think, 24 regions, maybe 26. There was a lot of involvement in projects, and you'll see that going forward. And we started judge apps. And this thing grew. We had various regions coming into play. We had different projects coming into play. Even more projects coming into play. And this thing grew to a huge, complex organization where even just the monthly newsletter, which was led by Eva, had 8 or 7 team members plus a whole translation team. And just how big did we get? We got to over 6,000 judges around the world, 5,000 level 1. Globally, I know you probably can't read this, it got very, very big and complex. Just Europe alone was 1,800 judges, 1,700 judges, with 350 being level 2 and above, and double that, or sorry, 4 times that at level 1. And these numbers at the bottom matched a pyramid structure that you want to see in a growing structure. During this entire time, Magic is growing year on year on year. How big does this really, really, really get? Ooh. it got really big. Oh, maybe this doesn't share. Okay. So it was all for building a community of experts who would run great events. Because it was run by wizards, this program was about being a bridge, ponte, between players and organizers. And we did that by creating leaders. Now I'm going to skip over our values. You'll see them again in the future because they don't change. Then we began changing the organized play structure. We got rid of PTQs. There was a lawsuit regarding judges. And then in 2016, there was a new fashioned order where we stopped level 4 and 5. There were huge GPs run by Channel Fireball, mostly around the world, and nothing much below that. There were PPTQs. And then Judge Academy came into existence when Wizards decided to no longer directly manage the judge program. And midway through them, we got COVID, and everything began to collapse quickly. Today's pyramid is this, where you have Wizards running a pro tour at a MagicCon or World. And then you have 11 regional TOs running regional championships like the LMS and the LEC in Europe. And thousands of stores running regional championships at the lowest level. This pyramid has store level events that run from 8 people to 70 or 80 people, to regional championships that run from 300 to 800 people, and then nothing above that till you get to a pro tour. So there's no such thing as a Grand Prix anymore. So now where are we? Well, what I'm here to talk to you about is the project that is being run by a group of us, Alfonso, Sergio, Philip, there's Luke, Davide. There's about 8 of us that I built a small group to try to handle this task. We're asking right now for you to go to this website and vote for what name we're going to have, and to give us some more details about you so we can get a picture of what the judge program looks like. So this organization exists to keep the quality and the community of judges alive when Wizards decided to end Judge Academy, but not replace it. And in so doing, Judge Foundry came up, and we are talking with them on partnerships, but they only chose to serve the US and Canada for legal and logistical reasons. Our aim is to serve any region in the world that doesn't have its own association, and to bridge the association's definitions of judges, levels they use, badges they use, or whatever system they can come up with. We want to be that bridge and the association for anyone who wants to go international outside of their local association, and partner with each of those as best we can with their models. Our focus is going at the start to be the quality of level ones we have, as well as to try to build the needed judges for level 2 in the areas of the world that is necessary for. So some of the challenges that we're having are looking at the new organized play structure, and every judge program around the world for different games is successful when its structure matches the needs of the game's organized play structure that it's trying to serve. So in part, we're trying to gather from Wizards its strategy for the future so that we can work with them closely. My main aim, mine, is community. I greatly value the people of this program. There are others in this group that we're with, this association we're building, who value the certifications and the quality that it brings. There are others who are strong about the mentorship qualities that are necessary or the self-improvement that needs to be done. And with that, I'm going to see if anyone has questions, but I'm going to have Michaela probably put them into our messenger chat if I can't hear you. As I can't see you, can somebody handle any questions? I don't know that we have any. I apologize. There's a question. Great. I apologize, by the way, for not being present at Lucca. There was a little misunderstanding. Normally, we are at Lucca, but not this year or last year. Okay. Timeline for this association. We are in the process of doing the legal requirements to build the association. The timeline for that is expected to be from 2 to 5 weeks. So we're looking at early December before it's legally established. An association requires that you have a written set of rules, that you have members have at least one annual vote a year on those rules. They can propose changes and such. The structure of the directors also needs to be built. And I wish to be clear, we are not looking on this as a job. We are not looking on this to take salary. We, especially, for instance, Alfonso and I, are doing this to get this going and existing, and possibly at that point to really transfer this to the new leadership we see in the judge program. So in that regard, any membership fee we are looking to do would only really cover our costs of maintaining website, legal, any partnership necessities we have with Judge Apps or Wizards to get resources. Next question.
Andy, you should be, yeah. Now the microphone is working. Second question is coming always on the screen.
Okay. We have a mission and a vision statement written for when the website gets created to post on it. You saw a bit of what that framework was in the presentation I had and skipped over, but our values are essentially the same as they used to be. We wish to create a vibrant community of leaders. We do not aim to be a bridge between wizards and players. Our aim now is to be a bridge between stores and players where they recognize our value. And to do that, we need to create experts for tournaments. We can't create our website until we have our name. So we're ending this vote, I believe, tomorrow at the end of the day. And then we can proceed with creating a website and a customer service email and many other processes. The representation of every member will be done at least once annually, potentially twice annually. Our plan is that they will select not only a general vote of the rules, but there will be votes by its members to have representatives created by, we believe, by region as well as by number, because we aim to be an international group. We understand that it shouldn't just be by population, but by different cultures and different needs of different regions. One of the reasons we don't want to take over a smaller region is because different regions of the world have different organized play structures, and they therefore may need to alter their judge program to meet local needs. The development in the UK is different than the development in Canada, which Judge Foundry will find out, which is different than in the United States. They're different shaped countries, they have different populations, and they have different amounts of organized play being run in them. So smaller regions will be more represented in their local community as always, and then in ours, we will give them a voice in what we're calling an assembly, essentially, is the plan. Kind of a Senate, Parliament. Yes, we plan to have online, as I said, community is my biggest real passion. I care about making sure that judges can continue to work together across regions. I think the greatest value I have seen in the judge program is exactly in this, where an organized group of passionate people come together from different cultures and different backgrounds and build something better than what they could do in their own region. Ooh, good question. A 2-year hope is that we have reestablished the quality that goes into being a judge. We want to see that the program gives a brand and a meaning to what it means to be a judge for Magic, or then that is our focus, because other games have really good judge programs. But that's what we want in 2 years. We want to see the quality and the brand of being a judge restored while maintaining, without fragmenting, without breaking apart, the community. Right. So we suffered a bit of a brand. We suffered in our brand in the last years with COVID and some of the skepticism about online testing. One of the things we wish to reestablish is in-person evaluation, and note that in-person these days does also includes video, having an established relationship with the person that you're certifying. That we all know that those relationships are no longer just physical, that you can build those across the internet. We aim to market this to TOs through, in part, the reputation of the leadership of this and talking directly to TOs if possible. The primary, however, will be through regional associations reaching out to their premier event TOs, and then to the stores that they serve as judges. Yes. Will it be more difficult? It will be more difficult to become a judge than it was under Judge Academy, for certain. We believe that there needs to be a sanity check, a check of a person's characteristic before they're promoted into being a judge, which means it will take longer than an online test, and it will be more difficult than taking an online test that you see all the answers and then you can take it again. So yeah, it will be more difficult. This is, I am skeptical that judge foils will remain in existence. The reason for that has a lot to do with the printing of multiple cards and multiple versions of cards that the secondary market is complaining to Wizards about, and I believe they are listening to that. I believe one of the key reasons they ended their contract with Judge Academy was to eliminate the contract need of judge foils that they had. And I believe that there is a small chance that foils of some amount may exist. And my hope in that is really to service conferences. That is really where I see the value of judge foils, and I hope in my conversations with Wizards to impress this upon them and work out some arrangement. I believe that Wizards wants to cooperate with several associations in order to partner with judges. It does not wish to break its relationship with the judge community. It knows the judge community is an important community. However, I think legally they have stepped away from managing that association with Judge Academy, and they're doing it now by ending it with Judge Academy. And I see them taking a further step away from any direct involvement as possible. However, I did ask in a preliminary meeting if they would maintain at least rules, policies, and perhaps provide questions for exams. Because that is important to having a global quality of judges that is running tournaments all the same and has a pool of questions to draw from that is equal. And I believe that they are willing to do that. Alternate tangibles of something other than foils is not something we are currently looking at for a couple of reasons. One, we aim to be an international association, meaning you have to ship things across oceans. You have to go across borders that have customs. And we want to keep our membership costs to members low, very low if possible. So anything tangible in the form of recognition would become very cost prohibitive. Recognition by the community within a program structure of your judge date that you became, your any middle steps that you've done to your levels, but mostly when you level up, should be a grand celebration. It has been suggested. It is, let's say, cafe a month, like that. That is what we're looking at. And I obviously we still need to look at what costs are going to actually be. It will depend on partnerships that we have with Foundry, Judge Apps, and Wizards, and if they have anything that we need to pay for. But in general, we're hoping to keep the subscription fee to something as low as one coffee a month. Yeah, materials for such are something that harkens back to why I believe community and conferences are vital. I believe that we generate a wealthy amount of materials of interest to judges at every conference we do, and some are better than others. But as you saw, for instance, with Jacopo, you had a wealth of information up there about judge structure. And I think having that as an available resource produced by judges around the world for conferences and then sharing them is the way that we can keep judges updated. As to tests, we wish to utilize Judge Apps. It is a resource for all judges. That has been made clear. And I think we can continue to operate on that platform. Right. I don't think it's really fair for me to say much on this topic. These were names put forth by the group. I will say that any name should the name of an organization is important for its characteristic and who it intends to serve. So what is important for that organization to represent should also be represented in its name. Each of the four names has some of that, and you can choose between them as to what serves you best. Obviously, the internet has some really, especially Europe, has some good privacy rules on things. I don't know the laws on these things. My intent is that I believe, this is what I believe. I believe if you're a judge, you should be able to be contacted by a store if they need to find somebody to judge. How that happens and you retain your privacy can be as simple as TOs can put in a form and judges are alerted who are in the region around it, and they can then respond. But you shouldn't be able to locate a judge just by searching for them. And that is the privacy that is needed for a program. You can say that judges live in a broad area, but the importance of locating a judge is really to contact them, not to know where they live.
So I don't see any more questions coming.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Andy, for joining us remotely, but still with us. We love
Thank
what
you
you're
all.
doing. We love to hear that something is being done.